The room is silent before dawn. No music, no voices, just the cold air against your skin and the weight of another day you did not ask for. This is where it begins. Not in motivation, not in inspiration, in the raw fact that you are here, alone, with no one watching and no one coming to save you. Miyamoto Musashi walked alone for most of his life. He did not wait for permission. He did not seek comfort. He carved his path with 2 swords and a mind that refused distraction. You are not him, but the question he answered with his life is the same question standing in front of you now. Will you live by your own standard, or will you collapse into the noise? Most collapse. They wake to screens. They feed on validation. They mistake motion for progress and noise for clarity. They don't know they are already defeated because they never stood still long enough to see what they were running from. Stillness is unbearable to the weak. It reflects everything. The promises you broke, the hours you wasted, the version of yourself you said you would become but abandoned when it required pain. Musashi did not run from this reflection. He sat with it. He sharpened himself against it. Every duel he fought began long before the sword was drawn. It began in the silent hours when no one was watching, when he chose restraint over comfort, when he walked away from everything soft. You will not walk his path, but you can learn what he learned, that the enemy is not outside. The enemy is the voice that tells you to rest when you are not tired, to eat when you are not hungry, to speak when you have nothing to say, to move when stillness would make you stronger. The war is internal, always. Comfort is a slow blade. It does not kill you in one strike. It cuts you in small ways. A skipped morning, a compromise, a day where you told yourself it did not matter, and it compounds. 1 year becomes 5, 5 becomes 10, and you wake up one day in a life you do not recognize, built by 1,000 small surrenders you thought were harmless. Musashi fought over 60 duels. He never lost, not because he was faster, not because he was stronger, because he understood something most men never learn. The fight is won before it starts, in preparation, in clarity, in the refusal to carry anything that does not serve the mission. He traveled alone. He owned almost nothing. He did not seek fame, though it found him. He did not seek comfort, though he could have claimed it. He lived by a code that had no room for hesitation, and when he finally stopped fighting, he did not retire into luxury. He went to a cave. He wrote. He refined. He became sharper in stillness than most men ever become in motion. This is not romanticism. This is fact. The modern world teaches you to outsource your discipline, to rely on apps, coaches, accountability partners, motivation videos. But none of that follows you into the cold morning when your body does not want to move. None of that sits with you in the silence when every part of you is screaming to quit. Musashi had no one, and that was his advantage. You think you need support. What you need is to stop needing it. You think you need inspiration. What you need is to act without it. The sword does not ask if you feel ready. It demands that you move, and if you hesitate, you lose. Hesitation is death, not literal, but spiritual. The slow death of becoming someone you do not respect. The gradual collapse into mediocrity. The quiet betrayal of the person you said you would be. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a refusal to negotiate, a refusal to justify, a refusal to let the moment decide for you. Musashi did not wake up inspired. He woke up and trained. He did not wait to feel strong. He sharpened his mind and his blade regardless. He did not ask if it was worth it. He simply moved, and the world bent. Not because he forced it, because he became immovable. You are surrounded by distractions designed to keep you weak. Algorithms that learn your patterns. Content that numbs your edge. Voices that tell you to relax, to take it easy, to enjoy life. And if you listen, you will drift, slowly, comfortably, into irrelevance. Musashi refused the drift. He walked against it, through mountains, through storms, through battles where death was more likely than victory. And he did not do it for applause. He did it because the alternative was unacceptable. The alternative is what you see everywhere. People who wanted something once, who had fire once, who told themselves they would never settle, and then life pressed down, and they bent, and now they live in the gap between who they are and who they could have been. That gap is hell. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, persistent ache. The knowledge that you are not living at your edge, that you are capable of more but chose less, that you let comfort win. Musashi did not let it win, and the price he paid was loneliness. Real loneliness. Not the kind you cure with a text or a scroll, the kind that comes from walking a path no one else understands, from holding a standard no one else respects, from becoming something that does not fit into the comfortable categories people use to make sense of the world. He was not a monk, not a soldier, not a philosopher in the traditional sense. He was a man who refined himself through conflict and then refined himself through stillness. And by the end, he was untouchable. Not because no one could strike him, because no one could move him from his center. That is mastery. Not winning, not achieving, not being recognized, but becoming so aligned with your own truth that nothing external can destabilize you. You will not reach that in a day, or a year, or maybe ever. But the question is not whether you will reach it. The question is whether you will walk toward it. Most will not. Most will read this and feel something. Spark, a flicker of recognition, and then they will return to their patterns. They will open the app. They will make the excuse. They will choose the easy thing, and the spark will fade. Musashi would not have written this for them. He would have written it for the one who does not need convincing, the one who already knows what must be done, but needed the reminder that they are not alone in walking the hard path, that solitude is not weakness, that silence is not emptiness, that discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Freedom from the need to be liked, from the need to be comfortable, from the tyranny of your own excuses. Freedom to become what you are capable of becoming, without apology and without distraction. The path is narrow. It always has been. There is no crowd on it, no cheering section, no one handing out medals for showing up, just the cold ground under your feet and the knowledge that you chose this. Not because it was easy, because it was true. Musashi's final years were spent in solitude, writing, painting, reflecting. He had nothing left to prove, no enemy left to fight, and still, he trained, because the discipline wasn't about the outcome. It was about the refusal to soften. That refusal is what separates the remembered from the forgotten. You will be tested, not once, every day, in small ways. The choice to sleep in or rise, the choice to speak or stay silent, the choice to indulge or abstain. And each choice is a vote for the person you are becoming, or against them. Musashi voted for himself every single time. And when he died, he left behind a legacy that did not need defense. It spoke for itself, in the duels he won, in the art he created, in the words he wrote that still cut through centuries of noise. He was not perfect. He was disciplined, and that made all the difference. The dawn is coming. The room is still cold. Your body still does not want to move, and none of that matters. What matters is whether you will act, whether you will choose the hard thing, whether you will walk the path that has no witnesses and no rewards except the knowledge that you did not break. Musashi walked it alone. You do not have to be alone, but you do have to walk. No one is coming. No moment will feel right. No external force will push you into alignment. The work is yours. The war is yours. The victory, if it comes, will be silent and internal and unrecognized by anyone except you. And that'll be enough. Because you will know. You will feel the difference between the person you were and the person you are becoming. You will see the gap closing, not through luck, not through talent, through refusal, through repetition, through the quiet, relentless commitment to a standard that does not bend. This is the way. Not the only way, but the way that produces something real, something that lasts, something that cannot be taken from you because it was forged in solitude and tempered in discipline. Musashi is dead. His swords are gone. His body is dust. But the edge he sharpened is still here, in every person who refuses to settle, in every person who walks into the cold morning without hesitation, in every person who understands that mastery is not a destination. It is a direction, and the direction is always forward,